I have all these funny names in my head. The Director, the Secretary of Slay, the Glamander-in-Chief. And there's so many people I could like put in there. Me versus Nikki Bella, hair versus hair match. He actually is one of the people that helped me come up with my entrance, in NXT. Obviously, me versus Tiffy Time for the title.
Is there a part in your brain at all that Total Divas might come back?
Joe. Every day. WWE is crazy. I really think that wrestlers don't get enough credit for all the improv work that they do.
You hit the pin. The fireworks go off. What's it like to win the championship? Because last time you were here, you didn't have a belt.
How long ago was that?
A year and a half, 2 years ago?
Right?
Yeah.
It was a while ago. I mean, it's kind of all a blur because I've been waiting for that moment for so many years. Like technically 11 years, my whole career I've been waiting for that moment. And then it just kind of was sprung on me. But everyone was in the audience. My in-laws were in the audience. My mom and dad, who are split up and they don't get together that often. They were both there with their partners. My sister was there. My niece and nephew was there. Like it was just crazy to have that moment with everyone I loved there. My husband wasn't there, but whatever. His family was. So, and it was in his hometown, in such an iconic venue, like in Long Island, where I just couldn't have imagined it any better, except for if it was in my hometown. Right. Which, fun fact, it originally was supposed to be in my hometown. And that was, I believe, a week or two prior. And they kind of pulled the rug out from under me. And I was so sad. And then when I found out it was going to be in Long Island, I was like, okay, if I had to be anywhere else, I'm happy it was here. So yeah, it's just crazy, the whole thing.
Like when you're leaving the venue, you have the belt in hand.
Like I'm just leaving and I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck in traffic and all these people around me just watched me win the title and they don't know that like here I am with my makeup off and like I'm just about to go and like share a hotel room with my sister in like New Jersey
with the belt.
I took the belt, I packed it in my backpack and I flew. My sister and I got like 2 hours of sleep and we flew to Disneyland
To celebrate.
Of course, to
Obviously.
hold the belt up in front of the castle.
We'll go back to Disney because I have so many questions about that. That could be its own podcast. Is that the most surreal moment for you? Does it even feel real as you're looking around at the crowd and everyone's going nuts?
It doesn't even feel real now that I lost it. Like it's just, oh yeah, spoiler alert. It's so crazy because, you know, the match was only like 7 minutes long. It was really, really short. But the whole match, the crowd was chanting my name. And I'm at this point in my career where I can hear everything that's going on. I can look at the faces in the crowd. I can hear what's going on, the chants. I can read the signs. I can react. And it takes kind of a while to get there in wrestling because you're so nervous. You kind of black out usually while you're wrestling. So like I could see everything and hear everything. And I was just like, damn, like they really want me to win right now. Like this is going to be crazy when I do pin her. And man, everyone in the stands like jumped up. And it was just one of those moments where if nothing good in my career ever happens to me ever again, like I'm good. I'm going to hold that moment, like that snapshot of like the 30 seconds after I won in my memory until the day I die. I'm going to tell my kids about it. My dogs have heard about it. My cats know about it. All my girlfriends know about it. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
What was the first thing you did when you got home? Is it still Pinch Me at that point?
So I just like didn't get home for a while. I mean, classic, right? We were on the road. It was Christmas time. I think it was the 19th or the 18th of December. I drove straight back to New Jersey. All day I had been filming for Netflix too. We've got like some Netflix stuff coming out.
Because that was right before the premiere.
Yeah, and it's all back. Like we've got a show coming out with like all behind the scenes stuff. So we've been doing a lot of filming with them. So it was just like go, go, go. I did all my kind of wrap up videos with them holding the belt, having that moment, you know, hugging my family. Then I get in the car and it's just like back to reality. My sister and I are hungry. We need to go eat. We need to get a piece of pizza in Hoboken. And so we do that. We go back to the hotel. The front desk lady is like such a bitch to us, like so nasty to us. And I'm like, damn, like what the fuck? Doesn't she know? I'm the new champion. Hello. But you know, like it's back to reality. Like I get on my cheap flight that I took. I think we literally were on like a Frontier flight, like the quickest flight we could get to LA. And it's like, I'm just a normal person. Like only the people that know wrestling know. So nobody's going to treat you different. Like, I'm not Jennifer Aniston. You know, like, I'm not Angelina Jolie walking down the streets of downtown Disney. It is just totally back to reality. I still have to pick up my dog's poop during the day.
Matt's got to pick it up after winning the title.
Well, it was just back to reality. We went straight from Jersey to Disney, straight to Christmas with all of our family. You know, like I didn't really get a second to like sit in it because I wasn't going back to TV for a couple weeks, which that's also not normal too. We usually don't get time off. We're usually back at TV the next week or at an appearance the next day, but it was Christmas. So like family is talking about Christmas things. They're not talking about me winning the title. They're just like talking about their Christmas presents.
Going back to the Netflix transition.
Yes.
Is there a part in your brain at all that Total Divas might come back?
Joe, every day, every minute of every hour of every day, I think about Total Divas. Like
the demand is there.
The demand is there, and I get told that all the time. I've also been told by numerous different people in WWE and outside of WWE in like Hollywood that they've been pushing for it for years.
If only we knew someone in the room that could help make it possible.
Anyway, you know. It needs to happen, and it will happen. I think it'll happen whether it's called Total Divas or not. I think it'll come back in one way or another because how could it not? Truly, Total Divas is what got 75% of the females in NXT there.
That's where everyone found wrestling.
It attracted those women to wrestling.
And families, too. That's yes. It brought everyone together.
You know, like when I talk to a regular girly from Canada, you know, one of the girls I went to high school with, one of my best friends, they know wrestling through knowing Natty and the Bellas.
Yes.
Through Total Divas. Like they don't care about winning or losing. They just want to know who I work with that was on Total Divas. And I get it because I was there. I was deep. I started in 2014 and I believe that might have been the first year that might have been the year Total Divas came out. Total Divas might have come out a couple months after I started, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. I mean, I think my goal is to always attract women to wrestling, and it's not necessarily because, like, I need you to love wrestling. I just loved the fan base that surrounded Total Divas because I was in it. I was a fangirl. That's why, I mean, I am obsessed with the Bellas. And look at them. Like, their following is amazing. They have a cult following of women. That's what I want. Fuck the boys. I want like the girlies and the gays to follow me.
Who's your dream cast on Total Divas?
Oh man. I mean, definitely me and Sydney. I want Maxine. I hate calling her Maxine. I never call her Maxine, but I'm doing it for you.
I feel like the two of you are just doing your regular routine. Coffee, Pilates.
Yes.
Waking up early.
Talking shit. She
shit.
doesn't talk poorly about anyone, but she listens to me. So it would be that. Me and Sydney, I think Tiffy is a shoo-in, although I think it's funny because she's not like her character. She's so much calmer and she's very down to earth. So that actually might be boring for reality TV. I don't know. Like, she's so normal.
Is the first beef you and Zelina?
Yeah. But I wasn't even going to cast her, but I guess now you cast her already, so she's in there.
I want to see a table flip.
Oh,
I want to see something.
Definitely. Well,
or through a table.
No, Nia Jax.
Oh.
Nia Jax has to be cast. First of all, she was an OG Total Diva. But also, that girl knows everything about everything. In a good way. It's incredible. She's got the tea.
Like the best memory, or what do you mean?
No. She's got the tea. She knows the juice. She knows the goss. So she has to be on it. Of course, Natty has to be on it because Natty's an OG, like the OG of OGs. And Natty makes the WWE locker room go round. And then I would say I would love to see Naomi again because Naomi was on it the first time, and Bianca would be great. But again, Bianca's so normal, so level-headed, so sweet. But I think that the people would love to see a Bianca and Montez moment at home. So that could be cool.
What kind of chaos are you causing?
Well, you're already going to see the chaos I cause possibly on this new Netflix show.
Oh, wow. Can you speak any more on that?
I don't think so.
Dang.
I know. I really don't know. Like, I really be dropping hints about this Netflix show all the time, and I'm like, I have no idea what we're allowed to speak on and what we're not allowed to speak on. But what I do know is I don't have a filter.
Didn't they announce something about it?
They announced it. It's called Unreal.
Yes.
Not
Fest. Tadum.
Yes.
Shout out Netflix.
Yeah. Shout out Netflix. Love you. We don't really know, like, to be fair, until we see a trailer.
Right. It could be edited anyway.
Exactly. And I only know what I've filmed. I don't know who else has filmed. Everyone at WWE is so, like, tight-lipped, and I'm not. So I'm out there being like, woo, Netflix, what's up? And everyone at work isn't telling me that they're also filming it. So honestly, could be all about me, could be about 100 different superstars, and I'm in 5 minutes of it.
The Chelsea Green show.
Yeah, like, I have no clue. But one thing that I do know that Netflix and ESPN and Omaha has told me is that, like, I definitely do blab a lot. So they have to edit me down.
Yap City.
I think that's good.
Can we go back to your very first debut on NXT?
Oh, God.
The first match. You break your wrist. You're out for 3 months. What are you thinking as far as your career going forward?
In my household, like, growing up, I was not really allowed to have pity parties. Like, things happen to us and we move on. We're not really like a poor me type of family. So I've kind of, in turn, ended up as, like, a little bit of a hard human when it comes to, like, emotions and sympathy and things like that. And I'm the same way with myself. I'm like, okay, it's broken. It is what it is. We're moving on. These are the facts and there's nothing we can do about it. So I'm going to rehab and that's that.
Is there even a moment of woe is me, or you're like, okay, we'll heal it, we'll get back in?
Well, no, there isn't. Like, even when I got fired, it is what it is.
Like, right to the indies, we're going to get back.
Yes, but
that's so cool.
It's crazy now. I'm glad I have it, but also it causes problems in my relationship because I'm not sympathetic. So I'm working on it, Joe.
Same.
Going to therapy for it, but I'm working on it. But I definitely think that the hardest
I can't wait to show my wife this.
No, my husband, like, definitely is like, yeah. He's probably sitting there behind, his phone being like, yes, she's got problems. That's fine. That's besides the point. I think that the hardest place to experience a setback is NXT because you're trying so hard to get to the main roster and you're so short-sighted of everything. Like, you're just like, I need to get there and I need to win. I need to be the best. And, like, you're literally scratching and clawing to get to the top. And they're actually putting you, it's like they're lining you up with all your other coworkers in the division, like in the women's division, or if you're a man in the men's division. And you see what you're worth because the person that they think is going to be on the main roster is the champion. And then the person that she's facing is, like, the next hottest thing. And then there's, like, a bunch of people that just always lose and they feel like they're never going to get out of there. And then the rest of us are kind of floating, trying so hard to figure out, like, how do we get there? How do we, like, kind of pop off? How do we win the championship? How do we do more moves? Do we change our character? We're, like, constantly battling each other. And it's a really unhealthy relationship with ourselves and with our coworkers and with the industry. And that all goes away once you get to the main roster, I think. Maybe it's because I've carved a niche out in, like, comedy and like my theatrical work. But I truly think once you get to the main roster, you're like, it is what it is. Like, we're here. We should just enjoy it. And who's ever going to win that title is going to win that title. And the rest of us should just be so thankful to have a job, be paid, have a job, and, like, be able to show up on TV every week. But in NXT, it's not like that. So when you have an injury, you feel like, oh my God, out of sight, out of mind. I'm never getting to the main roster. They're never going to see what I'm worth. I'm never going to win a championship. And it's tough.
Do you just feel left out because the show's going on and you're at home?
The world keeps turning and you're like, and it's the same way when you get fired too. And you'll hear that from a lot of the girls. When you get released, you're like, the next week, Raw goes live, SmackDown goes live, and you're not there. And your friends have just continued their life without you. And you're like, well, we used to go to catering and eat boiled chicken together. Like, we used to, sit ringside and like blab about what the day was going to hold or like what our storylines were. Like, who's she doing that with now? It's kind of sad, and but that's just life. That's show business, baby. That's what I say. Like, when people are upset that we lose our jobs, we get fired, whatever, like we get the title taken off us, like, that's show business, baby. Could be worse. We could be canceled for life. God forbid. Like, please, no.
So that's just always been your mentality, is just go, go, go.
Yeah. My dad is really like that. Well, both my parents kind of are, like, but my dad is definitely like, we're not having a pity party. He probably should go to therapy too.
How do you lock into the character of Chelsea Green? Because the lines are very blurred, because you are you.
The lines are very blurred. But it's like, what character are we talking about? Because Laurel Van Ness, it was so easy the minute that I put the makeup on, I was her. And then with Reclusa, I was Reclusa for a second, but the minute I dyed my hair dark, I was her. This character is different because I definitely feel like I'm being the most authentic version of me, but I'm just turning it up big time. Like, I'm just drinking a bunch of Celsius.
Because I feel like you're already at an 11.
Yes. So all the time.
So you're like 15? 20?
Yes. I'm very tired when I go home. Like, when I get in the car to leave work, I am very tired. I'm like, was I just putting on a performance all day? But yeah, that's who I am. And I never really realized it until I came back to WWE. And people kept telling me, oh, you are your character. Like, you are high energy and like you quick-witted. Like, I do come up with my own jokes on the spot anyway, and I am always making fun of myself. Like, I like to be the butt of the joke. I don't like to make fun of other people. Same. It makes me very uncomfortable to like put someone down, but I like to do it to myself. I think that's comedy. Yeah, I guess it's just me turned up. And they always said in wrestling school the best character was just you turned up, but I was always like, but I'm just like a regular white girl. How is that gonna be fun to watch? And then 11 years later, I seem to have figured it out.
When I have a podcast that I'm really excited about, like today,
yeah.
I wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm like, I'm at the gym, I'm ready to go. Yeah. For you on show days, what's it like for you?
I am the same way. However, there's levels to it now, because now I've gotten into like a groove. Like, I'm nervous for TV and I have adrenaline for TV, for Raw and SmackDown, but it's work, and like I know that I'm always going to do my job well, so it's not the same nerves as when there's like a pressure, like a premium live event, like when we have a big pay-per-view, or when I'm going to win the title, or there's just certain levels to it. So now, like, I can sleep in a little bit more and I can go to sleep quicker at night instead of agonizing over what I said and what I did. And like, oh my God, there were so many times where I would be up all night after a show and I could not decompress.
From what?
Adrenaline.
Oh.
The rush, the thrill of it all.
What's your favorite part of it? Because wrestling's like storytelling, the physical aspect, the crowd. What gets you?
Well, we definitely realized in the pandemic that the crowd is everything, because when we didn't have the crowd, it was like, oh my God, why are we doing this? Like, how are we going to survive without the energy of the fans?
Because how do you feed off them if
they're not there? It was awful. Right. Awful. I was so thankful when the crowd was able to come back and we were able to interact with the fans. But for me, the best part of everything is just, it's just the character work. It's just like the dissecting of the character and the figuring out the backstory, and all the acting classes I took that taught me how to do those things. That's like the fun part of it to me. Now I'm trying to figure out how can I be the most unrealistic character, but everyone believes it? How can I make it real? You know? Because isn't that acting? Yeah. And I figured out that that's, during the pandemic, that's what I love. I should have figured out that that's what I loved like 10 years ago, but it took me a lot longer than I thought it would. Now I'm here and I'm like, okay, I love stepping into like WWE Chelsea Green.
You're also a stunt woman. Do you still do that?
No, but like I wait for the call. I wait until someone wants me to do stunts for, you know, someone.
Is there anything too crazy that you'd say no to?
No, I would never say no to anything.
Like stunt work wise, I mean. Like jumping out of a helicopter or something.
No, but I would think twice about fire.
Oh.
Yeah, I would think twice about fire. That's just like a little bit, I don't know, of like a fear. I'm not really afraid of fire, but like that's just a fear I have. But from all of the, you know, like the stunt mishaps are usually like rig work, like when people get pulled
like by a cord or something.
Yeah, but like that's not really a fear of mine. So I don't know. I would love to dive back into stunts, but it's hard on your body.
Who'd you do stunt work for again?
So the most notable was when I was Winona Earp's stunt double. And one of the stunts I did an amazing fight scene in the snow in Calgary, Alberta, in like minus 10 degrees, snow everywhere. I was freezing for about probably 15 hours, but it was amazing. It was thrilling. I loved it. But I had to jump from the second story of a building for that show, land in a barn, and then pull out a gun right away. Dude, my knees, I couldn't walk for like a week after. Oh my God. From just landing.
What are you landing on?
So I had to fall through a little hole. So I couldn't really like jump down the 2 stories. It was like jumping through a hole and then just like landing flat on a board that was on top of styrofoam cups. My knees were just shot. I was so young too, so like I probably now like my knees would explode. But it was the craziest thing. But I could say I did it.
What other like crazy stunts have you done?
Nothing. Those are probably the craziest. Other than that, I did a wrestling movie and some driving stunts. But nothing super crazy. I mean, it was crazy that I did an entire movie as kind of the lead's antagonist, and then had to also stunt double for her, and someone had to stunt double for me. It was crazy. So like I was wrestling me, but that was a stunt double, and I was playing the lead. That was kind of confusing.
How do you like doing something like that versus live TV where there's actually a crowd in front of you and you're feeding off those emotions?
It's totally different because, you know, we go live and we have one take. That's it. Like if you mess up, the whole world sees it live. In that moment, the crowd sees it, like everything can fall apart. So the pressure is different than having numerous takes for numerous angles too, you know? Like when you're shooting a movie, they're going to do 3 to 10 wide takes, and then they're going to come up. And at that point, you've already done a million takes. Like now they're just doing close. Now they're doing your partner, and you're just speaking for your partner. Like you can't even compare it.
You can't mess that up.
No.
Because they're also making sure you get it.
Right. And at the end of the day, there's someone sitting by your side that you can yell line to. Like when I had my very first long promo with WWE, which was my inauguration when I dressed up as the Statue of Liberty, they let me write that entire promo. And it was like 10 minutes long of just verbiage, just whatever I wanted to say. But there was so much pressure because if I forget, there's no one to help me. And like, how are they going to know to wrap the speech up if I forget the speech? Like, it's just, WWE is crazy. I really think that wrestlers don't get enough credit for all the improv work that they do in everything, not just in the ring, because there's so much improv in the ring while we're wrestling, but the comedy improv that we do and the promo improvs that we do and the ringside improv, that like everything. I mean, everything. And, you know, not every wrestler improvs. A lot of people do get scripts, or they, you know, memorize their lines, but a lot of us are just going out there and winging it.
Have you always fed off being in front of a crowd?
No, because I didn't know I could. I had no idea that this was like a skill that I had.
When was the breakthrough?
When I held a microphone for the first time in 2014, August, on Monday Night Raw with Stephanie McMahon.
That was the first time?
Yes.
That was when you fed off the crowd and you're like, I can do this? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Before that, were you just terrified? Like even walking out to that?
I just didn't know. I had no idea. But again, like my family's very much like, just do it. Like, this is not that big of a deal. Like, just do it. How do you know you can't do something unless you do it? Nobody in my family made a big deal about me wrestling. Nobody made a big deal about me being on Monday Night Raw. I don't even know if my family watched it. I actually have no idea. Like, I didn't make a big deal because I didn't know what I was doing. So now in hindsight, I'm like, dear God, like, what? If that went terribly, I could have been like a wrestling meme forever. I probably am still. Like, that was a pretty abysmal outfit that I was wearing, and I was a pretty bad actress. But, I mean, the whole thing is just, it's crazy. And I did not know that I loved live theater. I just didn't know that I liked acting. I didn't know I liked live theater. I didn't know that I was like good at comedy. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff. I was just winging it every day.
When did you realize you loved wrestling?
I think I'm still trying to realize it. Like, I'm not sure it's the wrestling aspect of it that I love.
You like all the components.
Yes, I think I love everything combined. And I think sometimes that's what makes me unique. Not necessarily at WWE, but it made me unique on coming up on the independent scene, because everyone on the independent scene in my time got into wrestling because they loved wrestling to their core.
Like the physicality of it.
They loved like locking up, and they loved chain wrestling, and they loved learning new moves. And I never really did, but I didn't know at that time that I loved everything else about it. I just knew I loved it as a whole package. And I thought maybe for the first 5 years, I was like, maybe it's because I loved being the center of attention. Maybe I'm like so narcissistic. I just love, like, I love all the eyes on me. I love people asking for an autograph. I love taking pictures. I love like growing a fan base. And I was wrestling with it for years and years and years. And then during the pandemic, when I took acting class, everything clicked. Everything clicked, and I was like, holy shit, this is why I loved wrestling. And I kind of thought that when I was Laurel Van Ness. I was like, I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm the most confident in what I'm doing. But nobody told me, like, you're so good at acting or character work or breaking down a character and coming up with a backstory or, you know, finding out your why, like all the things, until I took acting class, and I was like, oh my God, it's the way you break down a scene. Yes.
How many years in the indies did you do?
1001. I mean, I started in 2014. I didn't get signed till 2019. So I had done 5 years then. I was released, 2021. I did 2 more years. So I did 7 years on the indies.
What's the difference from the indie circuit versus the major programming that people might not realize?
That we are wrestling for cameras. We are not wrestling for the crowd anymore. We have to think about how we're placing all of our moves so that it looks good for a camera, for the audience. Because at the end of the day, I love interacting with the 10 to 20,000 people in the crowd, but there's millions of people watching at home and on Netflix. And that's who needs to see the good angle of the move, because everyone around, they see it all. They see everything. There's no hiding anything. But for the TV audience, we need them to see that facial expression. We need them to see like that tag. We need them to see the angle of my finishing move to make it look the most devastating. We aren't just wrestling. We're thinking about all those things. The placement of everything is key for the TV audience. And there's certain things that, I get back and the camera caught that I wish it didn't, or the camera didn't catch and I wish it did. Every week. But that's live TV.
Is that what you love about it? Is all those different moving pieces that it's kind of like a puzzle for you to figure out
Yes.
live in the moment while you're working the crowd, while you're working the moves?
It's thrilling. It's so fun. Like, it's so fun, and I think that's what that's what's so fun about going live is like there's no takebacks. And I really like that. And a lot of people, they watch themselves back and they study their movements and they study and they figure out how they can get better. And in NXT, we have these sessions called skull sessions where we sit around a table and there's a TV and we watch our matches and we talk about them and how we can make them better. I can't do that. I cannot do that. I cannot watch myself.
Because it's cringe?
It's so cringe. I never want to second guess why I made a face or why I did what I did. I think the beauty about my character is that, like, that's why I'm comical, is because I'm not thinking about the stupidity of it. And if I watch it, I will. So I cannot watch myself. I don't think I've ever watched a match of mine back. I feel like now I've watched the Pentagon match because everyone has clipped every second of it.
Crazy match.
And I think I've probably watched my entire All In match because, again, Twitter has kind of like clipped it all. So
watch this.
Yeah, I think I've seen those two matches. I have never, ever gone back and pressed play and watched myself wrestle. I'd rather die.
I know on Chris Van Vliet's podcast you said you and Penta Part 2 wouldn't happen, but it hasn't crossed your mind at all?
No, I think about it often. A fan asked me today.
Of today?
Today. A fan asked me a couple hours ago. They said they're going to Worlds Collide, and they asked me, like, you know, what's the chance? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think WWE is into doing intergender, so I think that's my out. But I don't think it would take me much. I say no, but I don't think it would take me much convincing. He is so talented, and he truly, I mean, everyone's like, Chelsea's such a badass for that match. Pentagon did it all. Like, he did it all. He got me through that match. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, I mean, I didn't even know I could do any of those moves. I just did them, and he was there to base me because he's an amazingly talented wrestler. So maybe if someone asked me to do it again at WWE, it would happen, you know?
When you, like, see him in the locker room, are you guys winking at each other? Like,
yeah.
Hey, remember that?
Yes.
We had a moment.
Yes. We definitely have, like, a funny little, like, but, and I'm sure he was shocked to see how viral it continues to go. You know, I'm sure he didn't think, like, he's had a million amazing matches. He's taken 1,000 Canadian destroyers and given a million power bombs and, you know, package pile drivers and things like that. Like, I'm sure he did not think that would continue year after year to make its way around the internet. So it is kind of funny when we see each other. We're like,
Thinking back to all of your incredible matches, is there one opponent that you can think of that you really learned a lot from, just technicality, wrestling style, the dance that you guys were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of continue to learn from different people all the time. I would say at the beginning, obviously, it was like all my mentors, Gail Kim, Billy Gunn, Lance Storm, and then Deanna, you know, my BFF, she taught me a lot just watching her at training, and she's such an amazing wrestler, like a real true technical wrestler. So watching her and wrestling her, I was able to, like, come up with things. She's able to give me things, and then throughout the years, it's kind of transition to, you know, a lot of the girls in WWE taught me how to wrestle on TV, even if they don't know they did. Learning how to do things for the TV cameras. I mean, when I first got to WWE for the second time around, I wrestled Bianca week after week. So I learned a lot about angles and things like that from her. I wrestled Charlotte and Becky for a bit too. So, I mean, I'm always learning stuff, because now I'm learning how to work as a faction with Alba and Piper, and we're figuring out week by week how we, you know, mesh as a group and how we do an entrance when one of us is wrestling and the others aren't. Like, I feel like I'm always learning.
How did the group come together?
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know. I mean, when Sonia tore her knee, I didn't know what was going to happen. Because we had the championships, we had the tag team titles, and I'm like, oh my God, they're totally going to strip me of this. So I started doing auditions for Chelsea's Got Talent. And it kind of popped off. I got Heidi Montag to do a tryout. And like I got funny people that like nobody would have guessed that I would have been able to get.
You got to get Vanessa Hudgens.
I know she wasn't a Chelsea fan, but now she is. So if I ever do it again, Vanessa just has the job, actually. She doesn't need to audition. She would win. But in that moment, I was like, okay, maybe this will give WWE an idea for who to, who could be my tag partner. And I felt like people were actually excited. Like, maybe one of the NXT girls can get a shot. And then they threw Piper with me. And I think both of Piper and I were like, okay, we know each other. We like each other. We have history. We lived together in Japan. Like, we were friends. But how are we going to make this work? And honestly, it instantly worked. And we just, like, had so much fun. And she's got the best heart. And I always knew that. She, in Japan, when I broke my collarbone, she literally washed my hair and packed my bags and took me to the airport. Like, she's so sweet. She's just got a motherly quality about her. So I find it really easy to work with her. And then when we were talking about a third, at first it was going to be Blair Davenport. And when Blair was released, it was obviously a really kind of like a bummer moment. Like, man, maybe we're not going to grow. Like, maybe we're not going to be a faction. We're just going to be a tag team. And then we both kind of had the idea, like, what if we could convince them to get Kaylee Alba? Because Kaylee is Piper's best friend from Scotland, from years of working together. And she also lived with us in Japan. The three of us worked for Stardom together. So it's perfect. Like, we have history. We have a relationship. We have a friendship. We mesh already. We know each other's quirks and, like, downfalls, too, so we can work around those. And it's just been really fun. I mean, it's a challenge always to be in a group. You're always going to try to figure out week to week how you continue this. It's not just about you. You can't always be the center of attention. We have to figure out how to shift constantly and work around WWE's creative that week.
Because it's ever evolving. So I'm just so curious how you stay inspired, I guess, to keep coming up with those ideas, to make it new and fresh so it doesn't get stale.
Well, I think every week when we get creative, we're able to keep it fresh because, again, every week it's something different. I mean, look, I break my nose, so it changes everything.
I thought you were going to come in with the thing on.
I know, right? It looks pretty good, hey?
Really good.
I know. Honestly, I'm shocked. Like, it was such a clean break. I barely had bruising. I barely had swelling. I could breathe properly. I was lucky. But even that, I break my nose. So, we shifted creative to do something fun. So I could bedazzle a mask. So I could hit Piper with it at TV when Alba had a match. Like, who knows what we'll be doing tomorrow. I'm going to drive to Bakersfield, California, go to work, and we'll see what happens. I don't even know. So I'm always just thinking about what we can do next, how we can make it fun, how we can tell jokes, but also tell a story.
Can you see the faction getting any bigger?
Yes.
Ooh.
Definitely. And we do have ideas for it to get bigger. Now, again, so much has changed since I lost the title. I think the fans would be shocked at the way it's kind of gone, like, woo, like it was supposed to go from here to here to here. So much has happened from here to here that, like, who knows?
Do you still have unfinished business with the title?
I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't decided. Like, are we done? I don't ever want to do things like ad nauseum. And I feel like with the title, it's very easy to stick to the same feuds. The fans saw me and Michin, like, go at it for just, I think, a little too long. And I think they're done with me and Zelina. And I don't want to push it. I don't I don't want them to get bored of that championship, you know? I want them to feel excited for what's to come with the title. So I feel it would be in the title's best interest to like leave it, to drop it. But me personally, I want to win it back. Obviously, I mean, hello, I want the title back. I want a second term. I want to make America green again.
You cemented your legacy in it being the inaugural, so I mean,
I
your name's
know.
always there.
I can't believe that.
It's in your
That's
Wikipedia
crazy.
too. The inaugural.
Slay. First ever longest reigning. I mean, maybe not for long. Gosh, I hope, but we'll see.
Who can you say who you've thought of possibly adding to the faction? Anyone from NXT?
Zoe.
Oh.
But Zoe blew her knee out. I would have really loved Zoe to be in the faction. I would have really loved her to be in the group, to be a secret Hervis member, and to have a sleeveless suit to show her guns. That was always my vision. So I'm really sad about that. You know, there's so many people. Like, I have all these funny names in my head. The Director, the Secretary of Slay, the Glamander-in-Chief. And there's so many people I could like put in there. I've always wanted to be a member of Pretty Deadly. Maybe Pretty Deadly could be a member of the Secret Hervis. Who knows? And there's so many girls in NXT. I mean, Ariana Grace is a shoo-in for my Secretary of Slay, my makeup artist, my stylist, my cousin, who knows?
If you can go back and give yourself any advice back when you first started,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Well, I always say it would be to stop being so focused on getting to WWE and like embrace what's happening in the moment, because now that I'm at WWE, I realize what makes me special and not like the other women is all those things that happen. Is the playing Laurel Van Ness, is winning the Knockouts Championship, is winning the tag titles with my best friends at TNA, is, you know, being released, is Lucha Underground, is All In, is NWA, is Empower. It's like every step of the way that the fans were able to watch me fight for the goal of getting on WWE TV that makes me special. And I wish I had to realize that at the time. I was so hyper-focused on getting to WWE and making money and being a WWE superstar.
So you think you had to do all those things to be where you are today?
Definitely.
Because that helps sharpen all those skills.
Yeah.
And that's really where you develop.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I didn't develop in developmental at NXT. A lot of girls did. You know, Tiffany, Bianca, like they're homegrown talent. That was never going to be my journey. My journey was always that I was going to be developing myself on the indies.
How come? That was just the way?
I think I had spent too much time on the indies that by the time I got to NXT, I was like going against the system. I was like fighting against it.
You already had your way of doing it?
Yeah. And I was so set in my way that I didn't want anyone to change it. And I was so entitled because I had won the knockout. I had been a world champion. So I was like, why do I need to change? You hired me. You knew what you were getting. Why do I need to change? You should just be putting these belts on me. And I needed to be humbled. I needed to be fired and go back to the indies and rebrand and change my mindset, be humbled, like strip myself of that entitlement and like just really realize that like things will come when they're meant to come. And that's what happened.
When you got fired, what'd you think immediately? I'm going to get back to it.
So I got very lucky because Matt called me like 3 minutes before I was fired and said, "You're about to get fired."
Whoa.
I don't know how. I mean, I'm so glad he did because it just gave me a split second in my kitchen. I was with Santana Garrett, a split second to like regroup and be like, how am I going to handle this? And it's awkward. Like I'm sitting there with one of my girlfriends. Like, is she going to get fired? Is it just going to be me? Either way, it's awkward. If it's just me, that's awkward because now I'm fired in front of my friend who's sitting there having tea with me. Or are we both going to get fired? That's fucking awkward too. Then we're both fired. We both don't have jobs. Like what? So I picked up the phone. I was not surprised, thank God, because Matt had told me. And my girlfriend gave me a hug and left so I could have like some privacy. And I immediately wrote down all the companies that I had not been able to get to before I got signed the first time. So that was like Ring of Honor and NWA, and a couple of other ones like indies that I wanted to do. And
because you just felt those were the things you needed to accomplish to get back there.
Yeah, I had spent, that like 2 years, year and a half, 2 years in WWE wishing that I had checked off those couple other companies. Because then I could say, I'm the only girl in WWE who's been to every company. And I couldn't say that yet. I was so close. Like, I probably was one of the only girls who had done All In and won, championships at TNA and done Lucha Underground. But I hadn't done Ring of Honor and NWA. And I was like, damn, like, I could have, like, really checked everything off and, like, been untouchable. So I wrote those down. I contacted all those companies. And then I called WWE back and asked if I could be released from my contract early. So usually we have, 90 days. I asked if I could be released, I believe, like on day 60 or 70 and forego my pay so I could get onto the indies earlier than the group so I could have more hype. Because, like, that's the problem, too, is we're all back on the same day. So a bunch of us would show up on the same show. We'd all be on, like, a TNA pay-per-view or, like, the Ring of Honor pay-per-view or whatever. And then who are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about the person who does the most flips. It ain't me. I don't leave my feet. Like, so how am I going to draw attention to myself? Okay, I'm going to forgo my pay, and then I'm going to get on the indies 2 weeks to a month early. And everyone's going to be shocked. It's going to be truly surprising because nobody's ever done that. And WWE said yes. And I surprised the Ring of Honor crowd, a couple weeks or a month early. And then from then on, I was able to get on all the shows and, like, book myself in all of these major companies before anyone else. It was such a hack.
I mean, I think it's so smart because you had to be so undeniably great to get back to where you wanted to be.
I had to make sure the internet was constantly talking about me or Triple H would never hire me back. And that was always the goal.
Is it way harder to be an indie wrestler because you're doing your own bookings, you're doing your own schedule?
Way harder.
Nonstop, 24/7, thinking about what your next move is?
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm the busiest I've ever been in my whole life these past 2 years.
But I'm sure in a different way.
People are taking care of me. I have car services, my flights are booked. I have an amazing team. Shout out to Zach and Bianca in talent relations at WWE. They send me, like one-sheeters of like what I have for the day and where I'm going, and they're booking everything for me. You as an indie wrestler are your makeup artist, your stylist, your tanner, your personal trainer, your transportation, you're booking everything. So your personal assistant, your accountant, you're handling all your money in terms of like your own agent, like your own manager, like everything. And then you're also the talent. So you have to show up looking like a superstar while doing all the things that like kind of take away from you being a superstar. They drain you, So it's so hard. It is so hard. And I don't think anyone truly understands until you've been there and done it. My husband is waking up every morning at like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. to catch the 6 a.m. flight to go to the new city. Like, that's the thing, right? We're not.
And then once he get his workout in, when he's there?
Yeah.
And then he has to go to the show. And then go to the show, do it, meet everybody.
Straight to the hotel to try to get 4 hours of sleep. And he has to eat 1 million times a day. I don't. I can survive off a protein shake. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. But that set me up for this life. I mean, the talent relations team at WWE, they always tell me like, oh my God, are you sure you're okay? Like, do you need a day off? I never thought I'd be asked that. Like, you are so busy. Are you sure you don't need to like, take a second and not do this appearance? But the indie life set me up for permanent exhaustion. I'm okay with it.
I think the same stuff too, because what I do now is it's so time consuming and busy. But I think back to those 3-hour drives when I drive up to Long Island to film a bar mitzvah.
Right?
And then I'd leave at midnight and get home at 3 a.m.
Right? Like you're elevating yourself, and like I'm so lucky to be busy at this level. There's a lot of people, like a lot of my coworkers that, you know, they show up, they do SmackDown, and then they go home. And that's awesome. They get the week off. I love that for them. But I don't want that to be me. I want to do every single thing for this company that I can possibly do because I waited so long to get here. Why wouldn't I want to be the face of the company? And I understand that's not obviously like some people don't have the choice. But when I get asked to do something, I say yes to everything. I don't care what it is. I'll do it.
Are you on the face of the trucks?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Beside John Cena.
Insane. He's probably not even there.
How crazy is that, right?
That's nuts.
It's so good. I saw it I was in the car with Piper, and we pulled up to a venue.
Oh, you didn't even know it was happening?
No, you don't know until you see it. And you don't know if you're ever going to see it. Like, honestly, like, we don't know where the trucks are parked and everything. So I pulled up to a venue, and I saw me and John Cena, and I was like, holy shit. I waited for this moment my whole career. And it's such a good picture. It looks so good. I love it. The gear, like everything.
Perks like that, being in the video game, action figures. What are your favorite things that come along with this?
I think if you ask my husband, he'd say all those like tangible things, like just what you said, the action figures. Like obviously he collects them all and like puts them up for me and has like cute little shelves and stuff. But for me, it's just the fact that I am financially able to support myself and my family. Like I've just been waiting for this moment for so long where I could build my own house and not like penny pinch. I'm so cheap. By nature, I'm so cheap, so I still penny pinch, but like just being able to treat myself or treat my sister, being able to fly my sister in, best thing ever. Buy my mom a TV, the purse she wants, like all that stuff. I love that. That sounds so like, really? That's the thing that makes you, but like, aren't we all, I just want to be relaxed and happy. And unfortunately, like money is a big part of that. Feeling that like, just like, oh, I can just like live, or I can just show up to work and do my job and do it to the best of my ability and not have to worry about like buying myself dinner after, you know?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Your Matt's house is almost done.
Yeah.
The fact that both of you are pro wrestlers, is there any non-negotiables that you had for the house? Because you're designing it yourself. Is there like a crazy gym, a cryo?
Well, so the reason we're building the house is because I could not find a home that was already built that had a big enough toy room.
A toy room? Oh, for Matt?
Yeah.
Really?
That's why we're building a fucking home.
For his toys?
Yep. I could not find a big enough like bonus room.
His man cave?
Yep.
Or is it a toy room?
It's a toy room. It's a toy room. He is getting full custom built-in shelves all the way around the room. I built it so that it's got like outlets in the floor so that he can
like
plug
illuminate
his stuff in. Like seriously. So that is the non-negotiable. Everything else I'm just building to be a beautiful home. The toy room is the moment. I didn't even need a gym. Like I don't care about anything. He just needed a toy room.
How stoked is he for it?
Oh, that's all he cares about. He doesn't know the paint colors. He didn't even know what the house was going to look like until he literally showed up when I drove him to see the house. Now he knows. But if you paid him $1 million to like answer questions about the house, he would have no clue.
What's it like for the two of you guys when you're both just hanging out? Is it obviously you're doing relationship married stuff?
Yeah.
But are you talking much wrestling? Like, are there ideas brewing of what you guys both can be doing better? So
before Matt was on the indies, it was like a strict no wrestling in our house rule. And he's changed that. He's always talking about wrestling now. I don't. When I leave work, I clock out, especially because I am doing so many appearances, so much media.
Yeah, where were you today?
I was doing a appearance in Santa Monica, a meet and greet for Money in the Bank. So I got to meet like 100 fans that stood in line and bought tickets and waited for me.
And you still have this energy now after an hour and a half in traffic?
After a 6 a.m. flight to LA and then...
Oh, you just flew here today?
Yeah. I got here at 9 a.m.
How many Celsiuses have you had?
0.
How much caffeine have you had?
Guess what?
Don't say 0.
No, I only had one small cold brew. Are you impressed?
Wow.
Pretty good, right?
Are you going to crash once you leave?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But I'm just like, I honestly, it's so cheesy, but like I cannot tell you how happy I am to be doing this stuff for WWE. And like I never want to stop. I never want to stop. I always want to be the person that they know they can rely on, because I feel, I don't know if you just saw, I don't even know what we were talking about, but just, I'm going to side note here. I don't know if you just saw, I got to fly to New York City and interview Anna de Armas.
Insane. I know some questions were about you. You talked about yourself a little bit.
Oh, of course, because I'm narcissistic. Hello. I needed her to know who she was sitting across from.
And she definitely found out.
Yeah, she really didn't give a fuck, but she did find out, and she was actually the sweetest, most beautiful human ever. But I would have never got that opportunity if I didn't say yes to every opportunity for the past 2 years before that. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have thought of me for that. So I'm just happy to be here doing this stuff because I feel like good things come my way when I say yes. So yeah, whatever you were asking me, I have no idea.
The toy room, the house. When's it going to be done?
September.
Oh, soon.
Soon. Yeah. I just picked the paint colors for the interior.
Oh, so we're like almost there.
So the exterior's finished, all of that. The landscaping is not done, but they started putting up all the insulation. So they're going to be putting up drywall in the next week or two, which then will mean I get to do, we get to do all the cabinets and like the fun stuff, like the details,
Is Matt watching you live?
When he can, but like now he's doing shows.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy because sometimes if I'm on the East Coast, I'll be doing a show. And like when I won the title, he was on the West Coast doing a GCW show. And he was able to come out. I won. He was like up 10 minutes later. He was able to come out and announce to that crowd that I had won the championship.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because I probably won it at, maybe 8:45. And then he came out at like 5 or 6 p.m. I don't know. It was something like that. So that's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
The all women's pay-per-view is coming up.
Evolution.
Is there a dream match that you could have, past or present, on the roster?
I have a couple different matches in mind. Obviously, me versus Tiffy Time for the title. Hello. Well, how could they not?
Do you still have unfinished beef after she pushed you off the ladder?
Exactly. And then we got like one match that lasted maybe 3 or 4 minutes before it was broken up, and there was a whole schmoz. But we had some good chemistry, so that would be good. My second one would be a triple threat. Me versus Natty versus Trish. Loser leaves Canada.
Oh, wow.
Loser loses their Canadian citizenship.
Loser can't go back home.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Loses their passport.
Yeah, Maple Leaf on a pole match. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And then my third would be, me versus Nikki Bella. I would love to do a me versus Nikki Bella hair versus hair match.
In what way?
One of us gets our head shaved.
Wow.
One of us ends up with a peanut head.
You would do it.
I would do it. For Nikki Bella, I would do anything.
That's a match. Book it.
Total Divas, baby.
That's how we set it up. Netflix.
I mean, how could they say no to such an amazing story?
Because that's the start of Total Divas.
Exactly. Yeah, so those are my 3. But like, I kind of like, you could ask me this question in a month and I might change my mind because there's so many women on the roster that I don't even know that I have chemistry with because we've never touched. Like, I would love if Kalani would come up to the main roster and I could wrestle her. I wrestled Sol Ruka. I loved working with her. There's so many good girls. Jordan Grace. Well, she's kind of rough. You know what I mean?
Not a fan.
I don't know that I want to get beat up by Jordan Grace again. I've been there, done that.
Have you thought about the end of your career? How you want to be remembered by the fans?
Yes. I don't care. I don't care.
Actually.
I keep thinking about it, like, because my husband is big on just like
Legacy?
Yeah, because that's nostalgia and legacy, and like wrestlers that he loved growing up, like they mean everything to him. Macho Man is how he lives and breathes by Macho Man. Like,
how often does he do the voice?
Well, he hasn't done it in a while, but all the time. All the time. Everything, his tan is like a Hulk Hogan tan, and his gear has always been very much inspired by the wrestlers, the legends from the past. So that is big in our household, but I don't really mind, because at the end of the day, like, I started kind of late, like, I look at all these young girls who are in NXT, they're going to have runs that are just like double or triple the length that I have. I don't know that I can compete with that. So I don't really care, but I hope that women come up and they have a spot where they can be totally authentically themselves. They can be hot but still goofy and bring a comical aspect. And I hope they think like, I ran because Chelsea walked. Is that right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hope that I carved out this little niche in wrestling for the women, that when I leave, people can keep filling that spot, that comical spot where the fans get behind them and they're not, they're funny, but they're not a joke. They still can hold titles, but just like be goofy. Maybe that's going to be my legacy. But I don't know. Like, I would love to get into acting, and like wrestling was just like a small part of my story by the time I'm 50,
What kind of acting? Drama?
Yeah, I think drama.
What shows do you watch now?
Bad reality TV.
Are you Love Island?
Oh yeah.
Do you watch any season?
Don't say anything yet because I haven't started.
Are you on TikTok though? There's some major spoilers.
No, I've had to stay off.
Yeah, you gotta.
I did see a spoiler this morning and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to. I love everything. Like, so Matt and I have our couples shows. Like, everyone has their shows that they cannot watch unless
Yellow
they're sitting
Jackets,
on their
White Lotus.
unless they're sitting on their couch with
Together.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got those shows which are more like drama, definitely. We've got not Yellow Jackets, but I really want to watch Yellow Jackets.
So good.
White Lotus, Yellowstone, Sinners, like all those, right? But then I am all over the place. I love reality TV to put me to bed, but I love dramas. I love murder mysteries. Like, I love everything. And now I'm watching it through a different lens, having taken acting classes, having auditions for some of the roles that I see now popping up. And then on top of acting, obviously now I'm like, could I host?
You could also sing.
No.
You sang the national anthem.
One day I got a text from Road Dogg saying, you're going to sing the national anthem today. It was in London at the O2 Arena. And I was like, say less. I think he was joking. I never actually had to sing it. And didn't my ass sit in my room and learn the lyrics to the fucking Star Spangled Banner? Oh, now I know. I could sing the national anthem, but I thought for sure, like, I'm going on live television, like, ready.
What's the relationship like with you and Road Dogg?
Oh, he's amazing.
Is he messing with you a lot?
Yes, of course. He's like such a goofball. But he's also a girl dad. So he's good at dealing with the high-strung girlies. He knows how to deal with us. He is straightforward, but like has a softness to him. He actually is one of the people that helped me come up with my entrance, in NXT.
Oh, wow.
In 2019. He was standing on the ramp doing like hand movements with me. It was hilarious. It's a memory I never want to forget.
How'd you land on that? Like, were there other ones before ending there?
Yes. So Maria Kanellis in TNA saw my finger tattoo that is shh, and was like, you have to use that. Oh my God, that's like, hello, why are you not? So I would like awkwardly do things and shh. I would do things in the ring and like shh before I bitch slapped the girls and stuff. And I liked it. And I carried it to WWE, but I didn't really have it like refined. And then Road Dogg said we were working on entrances and stuff like that down at NXT. And he was like, will you do this thing? Like, can we make it like a movement and stuff? And that's when we started going through all the hand movements and stuff. And at first we were doing like 2 shushes and it was a mess, but we got it. We got it. I love it. It's my little thing. And like, you know, now I have people coming up to me at meet and greets and wanting to do it. And like, how cool is that?
How competitive is it to get signed by the WWE?
Well, let's think about it in hockey terms. How many hockey teams are there in the NHL? So many. I don't actually know the answer to that.
Maybe 20, 30?
Maybe 30?
I think baseball's 30 or 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then how many players are on each team? Like
25?
At least. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus we've got all the people that can get called up, like all the farm teams where you can get called up. Like, we don't have that in wrestling. It's just WWE. Then within that company, we have, you know, the women's division. And like, you really have to think, how do you make yourself special? There's already a bunch of white girls with brown hair that speak English. How do you make yourself special when there's already people filling that category? You know, it's tough. It's really tough. We don't have a bunch of teams. We don't have a bunch of spots. We don't have a bunch of positions or, you know, places you can go to. It's like one company and there's maybe 20 or so girls on the SmackDown roster, 20 or so girls on the Raw roster. That's out of the whole freaking world. And I'm one of them. That's crazy.
And you've mastered it too, because you're everything from your gear to your move, like it's all so
it's come together. It's come together.
It has. Do you feel like you're in your like final form right here?
Yes.
Like you've evolved.
I do. I feel like in my final form, I always wanted to make sure I wore the same style gear so that people could dress up as me. So at first, you know, I didn't have the hat and the skirt, but I always wore a one sleeve. I've been doing that for, probably over 5 years. So no matter what, you can always like go on Amazon and find a one sleeve shirt and dress as me for Halloween. And then I was like, okay, what can I do for entrance gear that people can do? And I looked at what everyone had and nobody was wearing a skirt. And I always remember the beautiful people and Taryn Terrell and Brooke, Tessmacher, they had these beautiful skirts. And they were kind of gone, but not fully gone. So I sent everyone messages just like, I'm thinking like maybe I could do this skirt, but I don't want to step on your toes. I want to be respectful to you. And they were so sweet. Like, just do it. Wear the skirt. So then I added the skirt, and that's something that people can wear because I made my first skirts. I bought tulle for $7. I bought a piece of elastic for like $1 from Michael's, and I hand stitched it all, called it a day. And then the hat, you know, I wanted something on my head and I couldn't figure out what it was. And Gigi Dolan, Priscilla Kelly, always had this amazing hat that I envied. And I started wearing it not thinking that we would be in the same company, like that I would go to WWE and she would also be at WWE. Like, we were both indie wrestlers and I was at TNA. So that was a little bit of like a oh shit moment, because I never want to steal someone's, but it became mine, became me. And like, I fell in love with that, and now people are dressing as that, and I'm, you know, about to drop a hat with WWE that people can buy. Like, it's just crazy, but I feel like now that is Chelsea. You see that, and that is undeniably Chelsea. One sleeve shirt, the hat, and the skirt.
I was in Hawaii and I saw the hat.
It's great, right? You can find
Literally
the hat
thought of
anywhere.
you.
New Orleans. I mean, I think it was Xavier Woods went to Vegas, saw a hat and bought it for me. Like, it's amazing. Molly Holly went to a store, saw a bunch of hats, sent me a picture, bought me 5. Like, I get hats sent to me all the time.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Now it's like me. So yes, I feel like I'm in my final form, but we're always going to evolve, you know?
Speaking of TNA, with the new partnership, would you want to try and win a title from them at all?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I won the Knockouts Championship and I won the tag titles. So I've done it all, but I still think it would be really awesome to just go back. Like,
imagine having a belt from TNA and WWE.
Oh.
The first.
That would be insane. I mean, I feel like that could have happened when I was the United States champion. I feel like that would have been a really cool moment. Right now, they're almost using TNA as another developmental. So I don't know about the main roster to TNA crossover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be interesting to see when that happens. Like, yes, we're seeing Joe Hendry, but not fully on the main roster. So I don't know. It'd be really cool to go back there. I mean, TNA was such a big part of my story, and they really are like a sisterhood there. It's so cool when you are part of the TNA roster, you do everything together. They're just like so close. So I'd love to go back.
Can we fire through some rapid fire?
Try because I'm not rapid with anything.
Favorite wrestling entrance theme of all time, besides your own?
My husband's. I love his.
Go-to cheat meal after a show?
5 Guys burgers and fries and a Publix cake.
I just had 5 Guys yesterday.
It's the best.
Double cheeseburger?
Oh,
And their jalapenos?
I mean, their bag fries and Publix vanilla cake.
Just, okay.
You can buy slices.
We don't have Publix out here.
Well, that's okay, but you would, so like in Canada, we have Safeway.
Okay.
Safeway cake is the same as Publix. So there's probably something, whether it's like Sobeys or Ralph's or something.
Yeah, Ralph's I'm sure has
It's
it.
like a plain vanilla cake with buttercream.
Who's the funniest person you've shared the locker room with?
Besides me?
Besides you?
Probably Maxine.
Naturally.
Yeah, of course. She's like my better half.
Dream vacation destination that you haven't been to yet?
Ooh, because my honeymoon was like my big dream destination, the Maldives. But probably somewhere in the French Polynesian Islands. But I don't know. I would have to. I really like to like look at a map and find somewhere that nobody's been to.
Smart.
Yeah, and yeah, I like to. But my husband would never go with me. He's not like that.
No,
he's
a
not,
Disney guy.
He's not adventurous.
He likes going down the street to Disney.
I do the adventurous stuff. You know what I mean? My next goal. So I just did Machu Picchu with my mom last year. I went straight from Machu Picchu to live television, to SmackDown. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. My legs hurt so bad. I really want to do Mount Kilimanjaro.
You want to hike it?
Yeah. Yes.
By yourself or with your mom?
No, probably not with my mom. She said she'd never do that with me ever again. So I'm going to have to find a girlfriend. My girlfriend, Carson, would do it. I don't know that Maxine's a hiker.
No?
No, but my best friend, Carson from Canada, she's a hiker, and she used to do the adventures when we were like in our 20s, and we would backpack around the world. She used to do that with me. Yeah.
If you could steal one wrestler's finish for a night, whose would it be?
If I could do it, Tiffany's prettiest moonsault ever. I can do a moonsault. It would never look like Tiffy Times. I would love to be able to have the skill to do that. However, if I had my skill, Naya's just plopping down on someone, it's so iconic. And like the way she just like sits there while she pins them. It makes me laugh every time because everyone has a different like reaction to it, but I just love her. I love her.
Bucket list venue that you want to wrestle in?
Well, I wrestled at MSG, but I would like to go back and do MSG televised. I did it untelevised. And then
you wrestled in Abu Dhabi, no?
I wrestled in Saudi. Yes. I think I would really, really just like to go back and have a true moment in my hometown. Not in Vancouver. I keep calling Vancouver my hometown. In Victoria. We have
Is there a PLE coming up there?
There would never be. It's an island.
Oh.
It's an island off the coast of Vancouver where we have one little arena called the Save on Foods Arena. It might not even be called that anymore. I would love to do something there.
So it's got to be a small show.
A house show for sure. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And WWE probably hasn't been back there since 2015, maybe 2016. So they might never go back. But
it might not have been a good run.
But trust that if they go back, I will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could make a cameo in any TV show, what show would it be?
God, I think about this all the time because so it used to be Dynasty. I loved the acting in Dynasty. I thought it was like so good. And it was again like very unrealistic, but they made it real. Now maybe like White Lotus or something.
A Chelsea Green cameo in White Lotus.
God.
They announced where they're filming recently.
Did they for the next season?
They said that Mike White said he was looking at somewhere. I forget where.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. But you have to spend like 3 months there. Oh, fun.
Oh no.
Oh crap.
Oh no. At 4 seasons. Oh no.
Oh, God dang.
Yeah, something that would push me outside of the comedy realm. So like, but there's just so many shows that I watch that I think about it all the time. I mean, God, if there was another season of You, I would love to be a murder victim in You. Amazing. I would love to be a murder victim in anything, really. So, Wednesday, the new Euphoria. I'm a little too old for Wednesday. I'd have to be like a young teacher in Wednesday, but that's fine.
Same with Euphoria, though.
No, Euphoria, they're coming back in their 30s. And guess what? I just looked up a bunch of their ages. A lot of them are like, I'm 34. A lot of them are like 32.
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're done in high school.
Yeah, apparently. Now, look, don't take that verbatim because like I'm just out here reading Twitter. But I heard that they're coming back. They're skipping like a chunk.
Oh, that's
a big
news.
timeline.
That's interesting.
Right?
Really interesting.
So
I love that show.
Right? Like something like that. Just like, I just want to be tested. But I will admit, I'm not great with auditions. I know that auditions is the hardest part and that's how you get the role. I got to get better with auditioning. Like, I'm more like I perform under stress, which is like, and not the audition, it's the actual role. So I'm working on that.
But you have the in with Netflix now, so I'm sure the casting is going to come.
Right? We hope.
I know you signed a new contract recently. So is there anything that you want to accomplish in the upcoming years on your bucket list?
Man, I mean, I try not to set like goals within wrestling because
It's not
my call.
Yeah.
Like, it's the writer's call. And honestly, like, the fans pushed me so hard that they had to put the belt on me. That's why they did. I know it. The fans were so behind me. And the underdog story, even though I was a heel, was too good not to, like, let it pay off. I mean, I guess I would love to win the world title, but heavy is the head that wears the crown, man. Like, the women who win the title, that's a lot of pressure on them. And unfortunately with wrestling, you get to the top and then people love to tear you down. And it's a slippery slope to fall down. When they tear you down, they really rip you to shreds. And I'm okay just like being somewhere right here and like kind of just being loved because I've been there and I've been hated and the fall from grace was like really rough. And I've been canceled. So I'm like, yeah, I'd love the title, but it'd be really fun to like I always thought I could be the first woman to win the Money in the Bank and lose the cash in. I always thought that would be kind of iconic and they need that moment. Like they've now had, I think 6, I could be wrong with that, 6 successful cash-ins. Boring. We need someone to lose. We need someone to cash in and lose in the most epic fashion. And I thought that could be me. I'm not in Money in the Bank this year though, so
Maybe you could beat your Rumble time.
that'd be friggin' hard. Dude, I ran so fast. Like that was a goal to have that time. I ran so fast to get that time.
Because it was 5 seconds.
Or 4 point something.
You have to be real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I've thought about like ways I could do that, but like I did it. You know what I mean? So like I won a title. I won a singles title. I've won the tag title. I've fell through a table and, you know, kind of like cemented my legacy in Money in the Bank. I cemented my legacy in Royal Rumble by doing comedy and becoming the fastest female elimination. So, like, I don't know. What is next? I guess in the next 5 years, I hope to be the first female John Cena and Rock. Not in terms of, I don't need to be that high. Like, that's pretty incredible, right? But, like, I would like to be the crossover talent for the females because we haven't really seen that yet. We saw the Bellas obviously crossover between WWE and reality TV, WWE and entrepreneurship. I think they've done amazing with that, right? But, like, I don't think we've truly seen a woman crossover and do WWE in Hollywood yet. Maybe that.
You're killing it. I'm so excited to see what you do in the future. Thanks so much for making the time.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Gosh, that was so easy.
Thanks so much for coming by.
How long was that?
Hour 23.
It always feels so quick.